Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. So, apologies, I'm looking sort of greenish today. I promise I've not turned into one of the Maryland aliens. I'm just testing out a new webcam, and, well, it's a new old webcam. It's a long story, but basically I bought a new webcam. It made me look really red with the lighting in here, and I'm like, I don't want to change all the lighting. So I'll just go back to the old webcam, but this is actually, I'm looking at it going, I look bigger, and the ranges, I'm like, what? Well, actually, this is an old webcam that I also rejected for making me look really red, like a strawberry. But weirdly, it's now making me look really green. That's one of the things that confuses me. I'm like, this was one I was going to return it to Amazon, and then they said, oh, just keep it and get your money back. I'm like, okay. I had it in the vaults. I was like sitting here going, wait, the other one's okay. Anyway, so I'm green today. But, you know, hey, there's been a lot of UFO stuff, so what do you know? Maybe it fits. I mean, today was the international, or not the international, the federal alert went off on all cell phones. I don't know why that just seems really weird to me, but it is. Yeah, I'm streaming from the Matrix. Yeah, that's it. I was like, and nothing happened. I didn't think anything was going to happen, but somehow yet it does just seem weird. I wonder if it's just that everybody thinking of one thing at the same time. I actually only heard of this federal alert thing like yesterday too, so it's like no matter what, I can't keep up with everything. But I'm gonna drink my monster, which is a kind of drink, I might add, in case you didn't know. It's the name of a drink. And let's get on with it, shall we? All right, so I didn't look very hard today for items for Mandelas, but I ran into a lot of, speaking of monsters, I did run into a lot of weird animals. Depends on which you is the evil twin. I don't know if I have an evil twin. You know, all the shifts and people say that details about me change, like my history, and I certainly notice that my face changes, but people seem to think that my personality is pretty stable across the timelines. The one thing I really noticed is different urges to swear or not swear. I go in these weird phases where I suddenly love to swear, and then later I'm like, no, swearing is kind of crude and I don't want to be like that, and then later I'm like, who cares, there's nothing, it's just a word, and that's one of the things about me that I even get confused about. I try to tone it down for YouTube no matter what my opinion is, because they will demonetize, they can suppress your video. It's probably being suppressed anyway, but I don't need any more problems from them. So you guys may not notice it as much, but people around me might. If they're watching, they could notice. Right now I'm on the no swearing routine for whatever reason. Like, I don't even think of doing it. The word does not come up into my mind, and so it doesn't come out of my mouth. Yeah, national alert thing is a little creepy. Like, was harnessing everyone's attention. Yeah, I think of those things differently now than I used to. I don't know why particularly, but I've been thinking a lot about that lately. In the old days, when us Gen X people were younger, and probably if you are on YouTube still, you're probably a little bit older people. My understanding is the young people don't like YouTube as much. But in the old days, there were only a few, there were fewer channels on TV, and you would all watch stuff together. And, so it'd come on at 8, the show on Monday, and it would come out once a week, and everybody would watch, not everybody, but, a lot of people would watch it at the exact same time, and you were all, I always felt like I could kind of feel it. Like, it just felt different when it was not a rerun, when it was fresh. And then you would go to work the next day, or school or wherever, and you talk about it like, did you see blah blah blah, and then someone would be like, don't tell me, I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I mean, you don't see that anymore. Shows come out on like Netflix or Amazon or something, and you might binge watch them, and then somebody else hasn't even started watching them yet. So it's very rare to find somebody that's seen all the same show, like the same show that you did, and they're at the same spot on it, the same number. So you can't really discuss because you don't want to like ruin it for them. Or what if they want to see it later? So that stuff's just not there anymore, you know. And now there's just like everything is kind of a weird separation where they're don't want you to drive as much. People don't go out and see each other physically as much. I don't know what that all means exactly. Do we need to differentiate more? Do we need to be less following of the crowd? I feel like it means something. I just don't know exactly what. Yeah, exactly. Did you see Seinfeld last night or Friends? Yeah, and a lot of people would, and if you didn't see it, you felt a little left out, you know, but hey, you'll see the next one, you'll catch up, and then you'll talk. It just, and so even if you didn't have a lot in common, you could talk about that. So I just remember I'd come to work, and I knew that there was somebody at my work who liked that show, and I would immediately go, hey, you know, did you hear blah, 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 what do you think about blah? Yeah, and you know they probably saw it. Most of the time they would have. Every now and then, like, oh, I missed it. But then you could even just talk about that, you know. So yeah, it's different now. It makes it a little harder to have commonalities. And now you've got the political split. You got the ageist split, where, you know, young people seem to, not all, I'm not going to say everybody, but I definitely noticed that there's kind of a weird attitude with some young people where they just like don't like you, you know, like I assume it's because I'm old, but maybe it's just because they don't like anybody. I don't know, but they're just sort of like guilty, you know. And it's better since I've grown out my hair a little, but I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I kind of was used to being judged a little bit when I was young by my hair. Like if you put streaks in your hair and stuff, you'd be judged as maybe a shoplifter or something by the older ones. But if you had normal hair, then you didn't get that. But now it's sort of weirdly the reverse, where if you have normal hair, you're judged by the young ones. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's no way to be safe anymore. So, okay. So anyway, I was kind of just running into stuff, and there was actually something on Yahoo News that was about a bunch of UFOs seen in Maryland, and I thought it was like hundreds seen, and then I got the impression that it was recently, but then when I went back, I couldn't find it, so I did a Google, and now it sounds like maybe they're saying over the last year it was 2,000. I'm like, but I don't remember the word 2,000. It was hundreds, and it sounded like it was just one event, and then I don't know. I'm like confused now because it's like now I can't find that anywhere. Usually I can type in keywords in the word Yahoo News and do a Google and put it on news so that it catches all the more recent ones, and I can always find it, but I couldn't. So I'm like, all right. I don't know, but one of the reasons I want to put it on there is because, first of all, they said hundreds saw, and I swear it was this one event that they said hundreds saw. And then there was this, of course, the classic blurry photo from way far away, but it was there. And it was like, the whole article was super positive, though. Oh, you know, and so-and-so's glad that we're taking aliens more seriously and the public is helping us. And I'm like, since when? You know, like the whole attitude has completely changed. It used to be you were a nut. Now it's like, oh, thanks for taking it more seriously. Like, well, people, you know, the government was the one that was telling us not to take it seriously. So now it's like gaslighting. Oh, it was actually those silly public that wasn't helping us. It's almost like that. So it was just sort of weird to read the whole article going on and on, all positive about aliens. I mean, those of us that are older will remember, I'm like, is there anything that goes on now that isn't a weird kind of gaslighting when it comes to the media? So apparently now it's, we need to take it more seriously. Like, us, the public, didn't do our job. All right, so then, as I was looking for that, I ran into all this other stuff, and one of them was this. Photos capture the carnage left behind when a lake in Brazil became a hot soup and left more than 100 dolphins dead. I'm like, yeah, but it was a lake. Now, I know I've covered this before, but I kind of feel like they're kind of getting the Mandela info out there with this, because I just kind of saw a lake and I saw these corpses. I'm like, well, what the heck is that? It's too big to be fish. Well, it's those freshwater dolphins. So they call them river dolphins, but apparently the river dolphins, which first showed up by being like at the mouth of a river, and then they were further down the river, and now they're in the lake, and the lake got too hot and they died. Now, I don't think you've ever heard of a lake getting too hot and killing a bunch of dolphins, because I swear there were no freshwater dolphins before. So that's why you didn't have to worry about the lake getting hot and killing them, because the ocean has, it varies some, but it's not going to heat up and cook you alive, So, I don't know. So, water in the lake reached 102 degrees Fahrenheit, or nearly 39 degrees Celsius. Over 100 dolphins died. Yeah, there's no freshwater dolphins. Like, since when? These are those effing pink ones. Look at the bulb on the top of the head. I don't remember that being there to that extent last time I looked up these guys. Rescues, rush to save. Okay, so it was pink river dolphins. So they were in rivers. They were like really rare. Are they still really rare? They were super rare a couple years ago when I found these guys. I mean, there was only a couple hundred left, so I'm thinking 100's dead. They'd be half gone. I have a feeling there's a lot more of them now, though, because they're not even saying that they're super rare. When they first showed up, I mean, this would be enough to, like, wipe out half the population. But now it's like, oh, darn. The number of dolphins that have died represent an enormous section of the river dolphin population, between 5 and 10%. So, okay, so times 2, so it'd be times 20. So there's going to be like 2 to 4,000. If I hope that's good math. They're saying there's 2 to 4,000 of these pink river dolphins. Then by that math, and then they're not just in the river. They're in this lake. Anyway, I don't know. The whole thing is just like, no. You never had to worry about the lake getting too hot and killing dolphins. If it's murder, if you kill your clone. Or is it suicide? I would say that would be murder. Who knows how the courts would... the courts have been weird. I mean, like, you can... The government can steal all your stuff by judging your stuff guilty until proven innocent. They can't judge you guilty by proven innocent, but they can do it to your stuff and then take it all. And I mean, like, some of the court stuff has been really weird. Everyone knows you start 20 minutes late. Did I start 20 minutes late? I don't think I was. Let's see. I've been on since... Does it say on here? Oh, yeah, it was actually pretty late. Well, that was 10:05. Yeah, it's like 12 minutes late. No, I apologize. I didn't realize it was that late. I was actually trying to find that UFO thing. If I ever show up on time, you guys won't be here. I'd have to sneak it back slowly. I unplugged my computer and put my phone in storage. Even though I'm sauce-free. I like poke. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not worried about it. I am sauce-free also, but I wasn't worried about it. You know, if the whole world is going to be like into a zombie apocalypse, I maybe I'm just too spoiled, but I don't want to live in some dystopian hell. I'd rather just like let the meteor fall on my head, because I do believe in the afterlife, and but you know what, like I said, I'm going to the good timelines. Thank you. That is my plan. Maybe it's not a good plan, maybe it's a great plan, but that is my plan. Do not little did we realize aliens are made of paper mache. You're talking about those Brazilian ones. I'm telling you, do not be shocked if we go back a year from now and look at those and they look better quality, and always have. Like, it's like they start out as paper mache and they look, I don't know, like reality is a weird place. Now, you could tease me for being late because I was late. It's fair game. I'm not, you're right, I was late. Apologies. Okay. So while I was looking for those aliens, I ran into like 3 other things. This one was it. And you know, I've had these on, but these birds with these birds with like worms on their mouth or something. I mean, like, sometimes I just feel like it's a giant troll. And this is another one of those. Let me take off the sound. It actually does squeak though. But I don't want to get like caught on copyright. But so you got this bird, and it's got like 3 things now of like wormy things. It's got one here and then 2 out the side. Now, the first one I first saw these, they were growing little dangles here, and they got longer. Now they got them out the side. I'm like, how is that convenient when you're trying to eat stuff and you've got giant things hanging off your face? Like, you're trying to eat a worm, but you got 3 worms hanging off your face. And they're your own worms that they're yours. You gotta like not eat those. Like, how do you not accidentally eat your face? It's like ridiculous. Look at this thing. Like, how did those not go in? You're like trying to eat. You're like, oh, my face got in my mouth again. I mean, like, this is so inconvenient. Is he gonna have to like always throw his head forward so that he doesn't get like his face worms in there? So I don't even know what this thing is. They're calling this a mustache. Whatever. There's probably some fancy word for this mess now, but I haven't seen any with these side worms. I've only seen the ones with the... So see, there's one there and then those. I haven't seen any with these yet. So I don't even know what this thing is. This bird. Close it up again. I actually should click on it and see if anybody knows. So it opens his mouth for a long time, and then it makes a squeaky noise. A 3-wattled bell bird. Here's the wiki. 3-wattled bell bird. So they're calling them wattles. Okay. Even though... I remember wattles being down in the throat. So I guess any like dangly thing now is a wattle. Mountainous regions of Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, Honduras, bell-like call. You can bet your booty that there's going to be more and more of these dangly things on the birds, though. Okay, so I ran into that. See what you guys are up to. You know, I don't think we have Shari in here, do we? Shari. Where did Shari go off to? She went to Canada, right? I didn't even realize, but that's where she came from originally. She's, I think, been all over like Muslim countries and stuff ever since I've been on the show. So I didn't even know that she was from Canada. Maybe she said it and I just couldn't keep all of that in my brain. But I thought Chris Sinatra and Brian Staveley did not get along, but now there's a video on Chris's channel interviewing Brian. You know, Staveley's an interesting guy because he definitely can just be a real. I don't want to say bad stuff, but he can be really difficult to deal with. But then he can turn around and he can just, like, in a second, put all that aside and be very professional. He can just, that's just kind of how. I don't know if it's kind of like a thing like some places trash talking is just not as taken as seriously, and maybe he's not internalized it in the level that somebody in another cultural upbringing might. I think Anatra is, I don't know him really well, but most of the people at IMEC are really not interested in a protracted fight. So if somebody wants to like stop fighting, I don't think they would argue. They'd be like, okay, good, it's over with. They're not really interested in continuing on with some kind of grudge match. So I'm not really shocked that they were able to bury the hatchet. But if you were, as far as I know, Staveley did still complain a lot about that online IMEC event like a couple years ago. I think a lot of his complaints probably that he had about that online one. I have not seen every speech at this recent in-person one, but I've seen some of them and they're pretty high level overall. And so yeah, maybe he's kind of over it. Like maybe he thought, I kind of got the feeling Staveley thought like IMEC was trying to ruin the Mandela effect too, and then the more recent event was a lot more, they had a lot of time to put it together, and they learned from the shenanigans of the online one. So as far as I know, it went pretty smoothly. Brian Staveley now has an extra E in his name, and Brian admits several people told him his name has been Mandela. Staveley. Staveley. Oh my God, this is... Put that out of the way. I've got 2 webcams up here. Only one is running. That's what I'm like, don't grab the wrong... I'm just going to type these in. Staveley. Wait. Staveley or Staveley. Staveley. Alright, I'm gonna put the capital. Neither one of them really look good to me now. Oh my gosh. Staveley. I am not sure on this one. I really am not. But I would have to say that if pressed, I would say that the one with the 2 E's looks better to me. I can't say I spent a lot of time looking at the spelling of his last name. And that is the kind of thing that we see with Mandela's, but I think the E is, the 2 E's probably are what I remember. Canada's smoke has been bad. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, we had the firestorms in LA, like, years ago. And there's literally ash raining down on the cars multiple times. Stuff a few miles behind us was burning, and, like, a couple hundred houses to the southeast of us also went up, and I could literally see those houses burning. We live on kind of the side of a hill, so I drove up further onto the hill, and there was kind of an outlook area that we could see. We could literally see the flames from those houses burning, and so we're right in the middle of it. But it wasn't too bad if you stayed in the house and just like closed the windows and used your HVAC system and stuff. Back then, when power was not ridiculously expensive, it was not a bad option. So I don't know, unless she's got real bad asthma or something, she should be all right. And of course, that was, a long time ago. Maybe the smoke is just different now, I don't know, but. I remember SMQ was SMQ. Yeah, I do remember SMQ just being SMQ, and then it was SMQ AI. Excuse me. Now, you can change your YouTube name fairly easily. Like, I could change it right now and then claim it was a Mandela. I don't even know the guy, so I don't want to accuse anybody of anybody. I mean, like, I have no idea if he's that kind of person or not. But it is something to keep in mind for Mandelas on YouTube, as far as names. I mean, certainly, though, I have seen Mandelas happen on Reddit and on names, and you cannot change your Reddit name. So I know that it happens. So that's why I tend to be fairly trusting of when it happens on YouTube, because I've seen it happen. And we'll see old threads on Reddit that can't be changed that will still, have that will change along with the person. Like, so, isn't Canada censoring social media? I don't think they're blocking, like, paranormal stuff, though. In, like, I have like one strike a long time ago. I don't think I'm not like Russell Brand or something, so she should be able to still watch that. It hasn't gotten that bad. I don't know if it'll get that bad, but I don't think it's gotten that bad yet. I'm in the Midwest and the smoke affects me terribly and clogs the filters. I used to never change my car filter. Now it changed every 3 months and it's black. The smoke from Canada is bizarre. The sun looked totally white, hazy in Connecticut. It's just weird because I just don't even ever remember smoke traveling that far. When we get dust clouds from whole other continents, and we never got that. I mean, even when it was horrible firestorms here, people in Arizona weren't kvetching about smoke bugging them. I mean, people way up north of California. I remember they showed the direction of the smoke going up north, but I don't remember anybody in, San Jose or Bay Area saying, "Oh, I can't breathe because of the firestorms to the south," and that's the same state. So it's definitely different now. And weirdly, we were like the firestorm capital here, Southern California. But now we've had the fires up north. Canada was covered with ice all the time. They never had fires. Hawaii, so my mom lived in Guam for many years, and I used to ask all the time, do you ever get fires here? And she says, no, it's all rainy and wet and soggy all the time. Oh, Guam and Hawaii never get any fires, ever, because it's all wet and moist, and it can't move, Now they're saying, oh, Lahaina is known for its fires and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's just different. It's a totally different world. The Thanksgiving date change was one of the first Emmys I heard people talking about back in 2016. Yeah, that one was definitely an early one. Uh, it's kind of creepy because a lot of the Mandelas that we used to talk about, that we all like 2 out of 3 people would agree, yes, that's a Mandela. And now, I don't know if, like, even on Reddit was mostly taken over by more recent timeline people or trolls or what, but people will bring something up like that, like the Thanksgiving one. And it used to be that everybody like, yeah, that's old Mandela, everybody knows about that Mandela. And now you'll get 9 out of 10 people going, oh no, you're probably just getting it confused. And it's kind of sad, that you used to be able to get corroboration, at least if you had some pretty good Mandelas, pretty, well accepted Mandelas, then you'd have a lot of people corroborating you. Now maybe it's some of us have been just doing it so long that we're not going to those subs anymore, and we're just done talking. You know, you just can't talk about it forever, the same old thing. But it's just different now. So I think it's a lot harder to people just coming into it, because we had so many people that would support each other when I first learned of this, and it's just doesn't really seem like it's there anymore. And there's so much less agreement on Mandela's. You know, everything is just so much more scrambled. Like, you're sure it's a Mandela, but 10% people agree with you, and another 10% think it's some second way, and then other people have never even heard of it. What is that thing? And then I saw the Rams win the Super Bowl twice. Yeah, don't ask me on sports. I'm not good on that one. But yes, I mean, I've definitely seen Mandelas everywhere. And some of the things I see them in are just things that are such specialty interests of me that I really doubt any of you guys are going to, you know, have any idea what I'm talking about. You know, dog breeds and like horse breeds and stuff. There's not that many experts in that on here. Ah, JoJo's is on. Hey, JoJo's. Nobody was at the backstage lounge earlier, so I just bailed. That's like this lounge for Rip and Rabbit Hole I'm talking about. Sometimes I go in there for like a half hour before this show, occasionally. Okay, so animals. This is actually one, I had been saving a couple of these weird videos off of Reddit, and I think it was like a whole month ago that I found this one, and I kind of had forgotten about all of the videos I had saved. But this thing is weird. Okay, so when I was a kid, there was like one little worm that you could kind of cut it up, and it would like grow in pieces. It was called a planaria. Like, the pieces could survive, and it was like famous for that in biology class. And then I've kind of gone in and out of these storylines that like earthworms could do that. Like, oh, you could, they get broken in half, both ends will survive. Yes, no. I mean, like, I've definitely been back and forth on that. And that one I'm very suspicious of. But last I checked, it was no, earthworms can't survive if you cut them in half. But for quite some time, those were, and that actually confused me, because I was like, I only remembered planarias doing it, and also it was just like in half. You couldn't like slice and dice them, you know, so. But this thing, apparently, it goes one step further, that it doesn't just that you cut it in half, but if you disturb it, it just breaks into pieces on its own, and then all the pieces survive. That's the story on this thing. And you can see it's pretty big, okay? So this is like a video where, like, I don't know, it's at least like a foot long or ish or something like that. Okay, so first of all, it swims really weird in this river. It's like, you know, the planarias, we could barely see them. We'd put them under a microscope. Okay, this thing is like a whole nother thing. So it swims along all weird. I don't know what this is. I think this is just an ordinary string here, but you know, imagination starts going crazy when you're looking at animals. Okay, so this thing swims along. It's cool. All right, they follow it. And this is kind of weird, because you can't really see exactly what they're doing, but they disturb it. So it swims over to here. It's kind of stuck, and now they kind of like just, now they're not stabbing it here. They're just taking a stick and like swiping the stick across. Now, if this was any other kind of creature, it probably wouldn't be injured. But apparently it breaks up into bitty parts just from that. Just from taking a stick and going whoosh, whoosh, like that on it. Like, I don't think even an earthworm would get too seriously injured from that. Then you don't see what's going on. So, like, why is it all white and milky? I mean, is that some kind of weird insides or something? So I'm thinking these are parts of it here. It has just voluntarily split is the basic story. So there's a bit. I don't think that's it. I think that's something else there. But you never really like see. Now, is that a piece of it? So I'm like looking this thing up, and people are like, well, what is it? And someone says, well, it's ribbon worm that splits apart when stimulated. I'm like, what? Stimulated. Okay. And best I can tell, that's it. So I look these things up. Larger species often break up when stimulated. Same exact word. Okay. Interesting. And the fragments often grow into full individuals. Some species fragment routinely, even parts near the tail can grow full bodies. This kind of extreme regeneration is restricted to only a few types of nemerteans and is assumed to be a derived feature. I'm not even sure what a derived feature is, but I probably should have checked that, but I didn't. And the other thing is, like, if you look at these comments, there's people, oh, well, those aren't that rare. We have those, blah, blah, blah. They have temporary gonads, ovaries, or testes, forming a row down each side. So they can just grow some gonads and then ungrow them. And I mean, things are getting weird. Okay. Like, it kind of reminds me of Deep Space Nine, where you have like that guy who can just like shapeshift. I mean, like, we're getting there, because if you can just grow parts and then ungrow them, I mean, we're talking shit. Things are getting really, like, if you look at octopuses, the skill that they now have, you know, they first it was just color, but now they can change texture and all this. So we're getting into shapeshifter land here. So they can be male and female, or hermaphroditic, or they can grow these temporary gonads. They can split into pieces, and then each piece grows. So some of them will just split into pieces, and then they can reproduce that way, or they can do it the old-fashioned way. I mean, it's kind of crazy town here. All right, and there's a whole bunch of these things too, like a whole bunch of them. This isn't just one crazy down creature here. There's a lot of these ribbon worms. Now, I've heard of ribbon worms before, but they were just worms that look like ribbons. They couldn't do like all of this. So I was kind of like, all right, that video doesn't really show me much. If these things can do this crazy town stuff, I want to see a good video. But strangely, I wasn't able to find much other than this video. So it makes me really suspicious that these haven't been out long. So this is actually, I think this is a ribbon worm, but this is another one of those can't find much info for this video thing. But it was listed as a ribbon worm. Okay. Let me take off that sound. Now, I don't know if you remember, some years ago there was like this worm on the hand, and then it shot out like creepy stuff, and first they said it was its intestine. It uses it for defense. Then they said it was something else. Well, supposedly those are also ribbon worms. And so now we've got a combo of they can split up into pieces and shoot out creepy internal stuff. So this thing is going to do both. Plus, it's pink. It's pink. It's like, okay. Remember when we used to eat those gummy worms from the store, and they were candies? Well, now we have real ones. It's going to shoot out its creepy part. Now, when the first one came out, it was tiny, and there was a real tight close-up that made this look big. But now this thing is not tiny. It looks like it's a pretty big, creepy, icky beast. So these things are definitely developing. So if this is a ribbon worm that can split into sections, then one would assume that this whole thing, each piece would survive. But again, I wasn't able to find much history or storyline on this. Like, it's just plopped down in here in this article, but it's not really described that well. Okay, there's another one. Now they're bright. This one's bright green with pink insides. It's like, and this is the only video I could really find that was really all that useful. And I don't even remember ever seeing that before, so that's not the one I remember going viral. We were taught earthworms need at least one heart in each half. So, you know, that's a good question. Can earthworms survive being split in half? Where are we at that? Because I remember never thinking that, and then it was a fact, and then I heard, no, that's not true. Okay, looks like we got a new version. If an earthworm is cut in half, it will not become two new worms. The head of the worm may survive and regenerate its tail if the animal is cut behind the clitellum. However, the original tail of the worm will not be able to grow a new head, or the rest of its vital organs will instead die. The planarium flatworm is the type of worm that puts the earthworm's regenerative ability to shame. Cutting an earthworm in half will either result in a dead worm or a shorter worm and half a worm carcass that will... Okay, so they're talking about them planariums that I was talking about that were that big that you could cut up. And it's kind of interesting that they're still talking about planariums when we just saw this other beast that's way more skilled at those what do you call those things already? The ones I just looked at and I forgot the name of. I mean, wouldn't you like use that as an example versus some microscopic little thing? But I think a lot of people still remember planariums as the original. All right, so the current story now is the head of the worm may survive. That's the version we're in now. This one is actually really shifty when you think about it. I don't think I've actually really thought about how shifty that one is. The earthworm story. Has anyone eaten the blue flesh fish? I had a chance to, but said no thanks. What are you, a timelineist? You don't want any... You're prejudiced against the new timeline. A timeline snob. Nothing but Sagittarius for me, or go home. The new caramel coffee M&Ms are so good, I ate way too many. I'm not a big fan of coffee, so... Eye is working now. I have this month for the other eye. Oh, well, at least you got one through, so... Yeah, my old boss had some eye surgery, and it actually did heal pretty fast. He wasn't supposed to hold his head like this, but he did it anyway, and his wife was yelling at him all the time. Because he was such a workaholic, and you really can't work when you're like this all the time. So they do seem to heal fine usually, so fingers crossed, certainly. So how many hearts does an earthworm even have? They're saying, how many hearts does an earthworm have in the current timeline? Does an earthworm have? I don't even remember them having separate hearts, frankly. An earthworm has 5 pairs of aortic arches that run along the length of its body, or 10 single arches if each pair is counted as 2 separate structures. Maybe that's part of why it keeps shifting, is like the structure of the animal is shifting depending on the development process that the current timeline has for it. Which sounds really fancy, and don't ask me what I just said. So if we have a nervous breakdown and fall to pieces, I don't know. Maybe they'll start, with That actually is kind of a creepy thing. What if they start saying that if you take off a finger, you could regrow your finger, but you could also take the piece off and grow that, like these animals are doing. Like if you needed a clone, what if you took off their finger and grew like another hand or something? I mean, I don't think I'd be really surprised if that started showing up as some kind of medical thing now, anytime now. And I think I would eat the blue flesh fish. I don't know. I mean, it's just another color. They're supposed to be tasty. My bank account is Mandela affected. I'm a millionaire. Yeah, millionaire bits of ash from Canada. Yeah, I'm not a big coffee fan either. More Evas would be okay. Gosh, where would we all live? I mean, it could be good if we all worked together. You know, one person could run more shows, other person could do more chores. It actually could be useful. Would we fight? That would be kind of ridiculous because you can't really get mad at yourself if you're yourself, can you? That would be a whole thing. There are suddenly way more redheads. Or we're just dyeing our hair that color. It could be that. I don't know. I don't know. Are they natural? Are they natural? I remember Elvis Presley's sandwich as fried peanut butter and bananas. Now it's peanut butter bacon. You know, that is kind of an esoteric thing, but I actually do remember peanut butter and bananas. I do not remember peanut butter and bacon. I have never heard of a peanut butter and bacon sandwich. And peanut butter and bananas did not sound bad because you know peanut butter and jelly is pretty good. And I just didn't see bananas as that different. I have never heard of a peanut butter and bacon. That's interesting. I even remember a limited time. Elvis Presley, peanut butter and banana. I want to see if anything even comes up. Presley, peanut butter, banana. Favorite peanut butter sandwich. All right, now this one says it's peanut butter, bananas, and bacon. I really don't remember that bacon in here. Maybe it was peanut butter and bacon in some timelines, peanut butter and banana in other timelines. PB and B. All right, 2 pieces of creamy peanut butter. Wait, 2 tablespoons of creamy peanut butter topping one side with mashed banana. All right, so there's different versions of this now. Bacon. Huh. The bacon definitely adds a weird twist to it. Elvis Presley loved his fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I don't actually remember that part either. Now, that part I might have missed, but... Blue-eyed or brown. He was brown-eyed. But he had black hair in my timeline, and in this timeline, that's dyed. And he didn't have black hair, so that's weird. It kind of makes you wonder, you know, if you get this sudden urge to dye your hair, maybe in another timeline, that's your hair color. And so now you'll all match. You know, you start wondering about this stuff. You can make yourself crazy. Yeah, definitely brown eyes for... Is it still the same? Presley eye color. Last time I checked it was blue, right? Yeah. Presley was born blonde. A natural blonde. I thought it was brown. Now he was a natural blonde? I swear, last time I checked, he was... and had striking ice blue eyes that were a dominant part of his persona. An unstoppable sex appeal. No, no, no. However, photos of him with brown eyes have surfaced, and he wore brown contact lenses for his role in the film Flaming Star to better portray his character. No, no, no. There's only one photo of when this natural hair color. It's on full display at the Wall of Graceland. Elvis Presley, blonde. Let's look at this blonde hair. Let's see it. There's only one photo. Light brown. Okay, so he was born blonde. All right. And there he is with his... You know, that's interesting because I think last time I looked, I saw a different one of him with his hair kind of down into the side. It was about that color, though. I mean, if people who aren't light-haired, it's always been the thing for me that it was common. And now that I think about it, it's kind of weird. But... you'd be born with really light hair, and then it would darken as you age. So, like, I was very, very light-haired when I was born, and then it kind of got to a medium brown. And so, if he was born blonde, then it would not be unusual for him to have, like, brown hair by the time he got older. So this, but I swear, they're saying this is the only photo. I totally remember another photo. Well, see, now there's another one. Look at, I don't remember that one. Totally blonde. Another one where he's blonde. They're saying there's only one photo, and then I find how many photos? This is more like the one I remember here. Look at that. He's got, like, blonde highlights. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. It's all so wrong. There's more of them now, though. I've only remembered that one, and now there's... I never saw that one. Now I saw these toe-headed young ones. I didn't see that one. I don't think I saw that one. Not sure. So his blondiness is definitely squeaking into reality. Here we go. Balsamic or balsamic. No, it was balsamic for me. If it's moved to basilmic, I am going to freak out, but it's balsamic for me. Yeah, he had those dark smoky eyes for sure. No, it looks like did I fall off the thing? I went too far. Okay, here we go. If I move, then I'm not in there anymore. Yeah, he was dark-haired, and he was black-haired and dark-eyed. That's smoky dark. All right. All right, so I got that beast. I'm going to go through some of my other. So it's going to be Creepy Beast Day here, kind of. Oh, we do have some creepy ice. Well, it's not that creepy, but... I thought we saw just about every weird ice thing, but there's a new one, and it is honeycomb ice. So apparently it makes like these honeycomb shapes, like a beehive, where it's all like, like how bread is, there's a bunch of air holes, and it's all, and that's honeycomb ice. Happens when it's cold and rapidly gets warmer. See if I can make this a little bigger. It makes these long stick things if you poke in it. So basically they're breaking it up. So you can get through it though, because even though it's kind of thick, it's all porous. And you can just like push through it. So even though it's, you know, that's 1.5 feet thick, but yet they're smacking right through it. Because it's honeycomb. Honeycomb ice. So let's look up some more of those. I feel like, are they going to be able to come up with any more weird ice? Because we've pretty much seen it all. Now most of this is going to be products, but you know what bugs me is I did this same search earlier and there were at least a couple of ones related to what I want. So let's go to Google here and see if we can find it. Here we go. Okay, so you can see how it is now, that it does look kind of like a beehive, what you'd put, like a bee made these. I have just not seen this business before, so it's like a whole nother bizarreness. You can see how it looks weird on the top, too. Oop, that's not very helpful. Anyway, not a lot of images of it, so maybe it's kind of hot off the presses, the Mandela presses. Green water. Yeah, there's all colors of water now. Pink, green. Green is getting really popular, and that super turquoise color, too. It's like all over the place. Red. All right, so another one, I was kind of looking up weird ice, and that's the thumbnail, and it's ice stars. Apparently, like I said, I thought I had all the shapes of ice, but supposedly these are common, these ice stars, and they can be huge or small, and that's the thumbnail, is a whole bunch of these ice stars. Stars are found on most ice sheets that are covered with snow ice. So I'm kind of thinking then you have like a lake, and then it gets icy from the cold, and then like snow falls, and then that causes the stars. But like a lot of things in this timeline, the explanation is getting too complicated for my little old brain to follow. It used to be that I could understand most of the stuff, but now I'm like, I give up. Water in the bottom of the ice sheet is 0 degrees, but it is a degree or two warmer a few inches above. Capillary action wicks water up the pores where they encounter snow, which wicks up the water and forms slush. A simple measurement of 32 degrees water wicking from a flat dish shows capillary rise is a couple inches. The weight of the snow, blah, 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 exceeds buoyancy, blah, blah. Drifted snow can be a factor in submergence. The water feeding the pores starts at 0 degrees, but as the water's close proximity is used up, the pore starts bringing us deeper, warmer water. The warmer water erodes the pore walls. The pore becomes the upflow hole from the ice sheet. Over the upflow hole is a dome that is a few inches in diameter. It appears to form the momentum of the upflowing water. The density of the holes in the ice sheets determines the size of the dark arm domain. The feeder arms are jagged, dark arms that radiate from the base. The arms are dark because they erode out most of the slush in their path. The jaggedness is from slow eddy turbulence. Darcy flow is laminar flow. Now, I think I've had laminar. In fact, I know I've had laminar flow on before that. I don't remember that existing. Darcy flow, never heard of that, is laminar flow through a granular medium. I actually should look this up. Darcy flow In this case, is a slurry of ice crystals from snow, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on and on, you know. I mean, like, so there's the out. So this is cool because there's not just a star here, but there's all these weird flow lines. Again, they're saying this is common. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this stuff. Now, you can see this one's pretty big because I think those are skis right there or something like that. I mean, this is a biggie piece. This is a large star in New Hampshire at the tail end of the season. The center hole is open and is acting of a drain hole. That's not a very good sentence. It was take by Jamie Hess. His skates are about 0.47 meters long, so a foot and a half. So that's a foot and a half in the center, and then it's going to be, I don't know, 6-8 feet long across here. Here's a really beastie one. Following are a few more pictures of lake stars. The above is part of the dark feeder arms. The lake light gray areas are slush. And then I'm thinking they're saying there's like lake ice underneath the slush. So look, there's a whole pattern thing going on here. So and then this one, the above picture shows several interesting features. It was taken on Shelburne Pond, VT. What's VT again? One of the states. Circular black line that is unusual because the ring to ring distance is quite large. So this is going to be those weird, I think we had those on before, that there's these weird circles in the middle of the ice that can move independently sometimes. It may be intervening rings are covered with more snow. Large concentric ring structures. I mean, check this business out. This is supposed to be common. The smooth gray is probably ponds with floating slush. Large scale ring pattern. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. There's all this crazy business. So lakes are going to be like way more interesting looking on the top, I think, is the short version of this story. They named the new animal found in Antarctica, weirdly, strawberry feather star. Let's check that out. Strawberry feather star. The Antarctic strawberry feather star, also now known as Promacocrinus fragarius, is a newly discovered species of free-swimming stemless crinoids. Ah, newly discovered. Okay, we've seen a lot of these coming up lately. These feather stars. Common feather star. So these are the boring guys, and these are the styling guys. Now, I've looked at these before, but they weren't quite as styling as they are now. I mean, it just had like 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever these things are, stems, appendages. Now there's a lot more, apparently. More styles, every color in the universe. Every color. Ooh, what is that? Giant clam. Okay. Alright, so they introduced this. They call it strawberry. I don't see, like, the color strawberry on it. Is it, like, dead and it's going to be showed up as strawberry later? It has a strawberry-like central body with 20 arms that extend out from it. I'm going to bet that it's going to get more color because I don't see any color on it right now. It's a natural color, can range from purplish to dark reddish. Neither of those really sound super strawberry-like. Dark reddish maybe, but the animal is believed to live somewhere between 215 feet to 3,840 feet underwater. Well, there's a range for you. Just say you don't know where it lives. It's one of the 4 new to science species described in a paper that explores cryptic diversity of a genus of free-swimming stemless crinoids related to starfish, blah, blah, blah. They're 20-armed sea creatures. How big are these things? They look like they're pretty big. A freakish 20-armed monster. 20 centimeters. 20 centimeters. How big is 20 centimeters? I don't have my thing. I think that's like this, though. Yeah, about like that, maybe. Like a foot? Let's see. Centimeters to feet. 20 centimeters. Oh, it's like half a foot. So it's not that big. It's like a little more than, it's like 7 or 8 inches. Okay, so yeah, not quite a foot. Well, they're working on it. At least not yet. Give it some time. You know, it's interesting because they're like, oh, this is freakish monster. Well, it isn't that big. And it's really not that weird at all compared to like all the other ones. Terrifying new creature. Wah! Feather Star Freestyles. Okay, is this the thing then? It looks eerily like a miscolored strawberry, albeit with some differences. It looks like a miscolored. How does that look like a miscolored strawberry? Am I missing something? Is it going to turn into looking like a miscolored strawberry? Because I see that I'm not. I mean, like, what are they looking at that they said that looks like a strawberry? Help me. Are we going to get there? Am I going to check it in a year and go, okay, now it looks like a strawberry? Who wrote this? In fact, there's plenty that we don't know about our oceans, and that's why researchers continue to discover new creatures like weird blue goop creatures that look like goo. Okay, I'm going to have to click on that, but first let's just check this star thing. All right, we don't need any yakking. We don't need that. I just want to see the thing. We're getting there. Feather Star Freestyle. How does that look like a strawberry? There is literally nothing that looks strawberry-ish. It looks like a creepy insect thing. Yeah, I don't know what reality they're looking at. All right, now we got to look at the goop. Weird blue goop creatures. Bizarre new creature that looks like blue goo at the bottom of the ocean. Okay. This isn't surprising when you consider the discoveries scientists continue to make. We've been studying zombie worms, which live deep in the ocean and feed on the bones of dead whales. Scientists previously captured details of how dolphins hunt on video. The blue creature. Alright, it doesn't really look that goopy to me, but again, we're probably going to get, like, more of it. We're going to get more strange over time. Alright, when's the official... Supposedly this is 2022. Okay, so it's fairly new. Either the moon is rotating or we are. Well, they say that it's the lighting. Like the moon isn't rotating, but the sun is hitting it from different places. And the story now is completely different than the old story. That would make a good channel, though, don't you think? From the Sagittarius arm. Like, everybody in the Mandela community would know, except for maybe the young ones. Because I don't know, did the young kids remember the Sagittarius arm? That might have been, like, kind of before their time. Like, I did talk to a rather young kid once about Arctica, and she had this vague memory of it. She's like, I think in 3rd grade I learned about Arctica. but the kids growing up now, Arctica disappeared before they were even, you know, all that sentient. So, I mean, I guess it's possible that they had it disappear later than us, but I have not heard a bunch of people saying, "Ooh, Arctica just disappeared." It just, there's something about this timeline that seems like really far from that reality. Now I kind of see the problem here. If I move a little bit, I'm like off. All right. Archaic's channel and Shiva Shampoo had a good show yesterday on the Emmy. All right, I'll check it out. I'm not familiar with Shiva Shampoo. And I'm assuming you mean Archaic's likes running that conference in San Diego soon. I'm really not really well versed with Archaic's. I heard that I knew some of the other people going to that conference, so I checked out everybody, on the conference, and that's how I learned about Archaic's. Archaic's is like, it can be kind of hard to follow him because it's so information dense with detail. I don't know how he holds all that stuff in his head. I mean, you think I'm bad. He's like 3 times worse, at least, than me on like all the details he holds in his head. And after a while, you listen, and you're like, your brain's just like, I cry uncle. I can't stuff anymore in. I feel like if he just broke it up into a million little videos, you know, he would do better. But on the same tide, you know, who has time for all that? You know, it's the same reason I really should make a bunch of little videos for each one of these Mandelas, especially the better ones, you know. But I don't have time. If I just only was doing videos and didn't have like a regular job that I needed to make money, I probably could do it, but one of these days, if I get wealthy, I can just hire somebody to do that. All I have to do is talk, and they could do all the work. That would be a lot easier. Remember it being armed because I'm a Sagittarius, and I thought it was cool. I'm a millennial. Yeah, what I mean the young ones. I don't mean the millennials anymore. Sorry. You're now like not many are young. Maybe the youngest millennials are in the young range, but now like the Gen Z is like, you know, in their mid-20s now, I think, aren't they? Tartaria was a new word for me like 2 years ago. Yeah. Archaic's, when he got out of prison, started studying, and he is very in-depth about subjects. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was studying while he was in there, too. I mean, like, what else do you have to do? If you can get your claws on information, anyway. I don't know, they let you have internet in there? Maybe not. Archaic's, he has the ability to hold a lot of like dates and stuff in his mind. Like it's really amazing how many things he could just have in there, all these little dates and details about history, and just yank them out. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's really like just reading this stuff. It's really impressive. I can't do that. That is not my skill set. I mean, I thought it was pretty good, but I'm not even gonna. I would certainly never challenge Archaic's to that game. Speaking of shampoo, on 1960s, Barbara Stanwyck's show on YouTube, their sponsor was Theresa May shampoo, pronounced Theresa May. It was pronounced it was Theresa May. Is it not Theresa May anymore? I definitely remember it pronounced Theresa May. So if that's different, yeah, no, it was 100% for sure is Theresa May. Okay. All right, so there's the blue goop, the lake stars. All right, let's go. What else do I have saved? Oh, this thing was just weird. I don't know. A lot of you remember this kind of stuff in your timeline, but I just don't. So when I first was seeing all these videos of like tornadoes and stuff, they were really fat. And you really couldn't see the funnel that well because it was just storm all around. So you just see like a whole bunch of stuff flying around. You wouldn't see like this beautiful little skinny tunnel and blue skies. That's the latest thing. You're seeing all this blue sky all around. And then so this is a mini one, okay, but we're seeing big ones now, and that is also another thing I've really kind of freaked out about. Used to be it'd be heavy storm clouds and it would be gray, and it would be dark because there'd be so many clouds that the sun wasn't getting through. But now you see like blue sky, and suddenly this little funnel comes down, and it's really tight and super long. And I know I've covered this before, but it just freaks me out. So now there's this tiny little dust devil. Now I've never seen a little tiny dust devil that has this tight funnel like this. I mean, like, I wouldn't even know. People are saying that this is not dangerous and you just feel a lot of wind, but I do not know this reality, so I would not stick my hand in there. But I mean, look at that thing. Yeah, I would be cautious because I have heard that in this timeline, these dust devils can take paint off cars. Now, in my timeline, dust devils could never do that, but I am now hearing that many people are saying that that is the case. But like I said, I've never seen this tiny. It looks like a big one. It's very tight, like the new big ones. So that one kind of flipped me out. So that's one of the reasons I say that one. This one just showed up 12 hours ago. Okay. It's there. So this is a python. What is it? 34 feet long. The snakes are getting big. It's so big. I'm sure it's hundreds and hundreds of pounds. They had to get this excavator thing to move it. This is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's dead. I don't know. Let's see. No, it's not dead. This is not dead. The head's up and going like this. Can you imagine? This thing could kill this excavator. Like, why isn't it wrapping around this excavator? Is it like wounded or something? Is it like bitten and like chomped up here and sickly? Because it's this big and the head is alive. Why isn't it going like all around the excavator? I don't know. So this video, it doesn't have a lot of info on it, but lately I've just seen, like the last 2 days, a bunch more of the like really big beasts. So I don't know, like for a while I was in this timeline where alligators were like 30 feet, and then they went back to 15 feet again. And now I saw one like that was 25 feet, and they said it was a crocodile. Now, the crocodiles used to be really small for me, but the Australian crocodiles apparently are really huge now. That's a reticulated python found in Southeast Asia. Okay, so they're disputing the location as not being Florida. Who the heck knows? I mean, this could be anywhere. Captured in Brazil. Okay, they're saying that's Brazil. This guy's saying no, it's not Brazil. I don't know, but suddenly we got the big beasts have like showed up in the timeline. Oh yeah, you're right. There was another thing. Yeah, this one was weird. I have never heard of this, and like, how did I not? As best I can tell, this is accurate. Many people have stories of narrowly avoiding disaster on 9/11, thanks to missed trains, blah, blah, blah. So they're saying all of these people almost died in 9/11. This is like, I think I saw this, what, a month ago or something? According to Michael Jackson's older brother, Jermaine, the King of Pop was scheduled on September 11th, including a morning meeting at the World Trade Center. But he overslept and missed the meeting, something he credited to a late-night chat with his mother and siblings. Years later, the elder Jackson recalled the near miss in his memoir, You Are Not Alone, Michael, Through a Brother's Eyes. Okay, I don't know, did they make it all up? But it would, something that you should be able to check. So they're saying that he called and said, Mother, I'm okay, thanks to you. You kept me up talking so late that I overslept and missed my appointment. Okay, now another one, Mark Wahlberg. Actor Mark Wahlberg was scheduled to fly an American Airlines Flight 11. The first plane crashed into the World Trade Center. Like, everybody and their uncle was supposed to die and somehow didn't. I mean, there's too many of these stories. Fortunately for Wahlberg, he and his friends made a last-minute decision to not fly to Los Angeles where the plane was headed, but to a Toronto Film Festival instead. Years later, the actor boasted that if he had been on the plane, he would have personally stopped the hijacking. After a public outcry, Wahlberg later apologized for his comments. I don't remember any of this. Seth MacFarlane, Family Guy creator, has a hangover to thank for surviving America's worst terrorist attack. The actor and cartoonist was scheduled to board the same plane as Wahlberg, but arrived late at the airport. I was booked on that flight, and I was drinking the night before and hungover, and I missed the plane by 10 minutes. You know, the thing is, like, I've been on planes, and every time I get on a plane, there is, like, no famous people on it ever. And I've certainly been on more than 4 of them, and there was never a famous person. Everybody I know that's been on a plane has never been on a plane with a famous person. Okay, I don't know, were they maybe, like, in the first class section and we didn't know? Still, it just, you'd think the rumor, oh, so-and-so's up there, but no. It just seems very suspicious to me that 4 planes were involved in 9/11 and suddenly all these people were almost on them. So are they all lying, or is the timeline just crazy? Or, all right, this was another one. We talk about the floating islands. I think this was supposed to be on weeks ago with the floating islands, but I just forgot all of my saved ones. So apparently now these islands, like, float around, and sometimes they, like, clog things up. But look, there's, like, whole giant pine trees on this island. You're telling me we can... Okay, you're telling me we can move Australia further away. That's a very interesting comment. It's a bog, not a traditional island. What's a traditional island? I would say a traditional island is one that's stuck to the bottom. So obviously it's not a traditional island. So was this Florida? But so what's the story here? Repositioning an island that's blocking. So they get all these boats. But I mean, it's like full of pine trees and stuff. So, I mean, what, you can just have these peat bog islands, all, like, you could put a whole house on here. What in the hell? I mean, it's cool. Hey, there's a swear word. Look at the size of that island. Look at all these boats. Now, I guess it, like, clogged up this route through under this bridge, and so they're gonna, like, shove it. They gotta shove this puppy out of the way. It's obviously on fast forward. Let's see if I can... I'll leave it on fast forward. What the heck? It's crazy time. Actual time frame, 30 minutes. I mean, it's styling. I like this floating islands business. I do. But it's still freaking me out. So, like, this peat bog, how does it not, like, rot away and then, like, dissipate? You know? Like, that's a thing. I just don't... We didn't have these when I was a child. We just didn't have these. think years ago I had one little island on that they said would move around, and I went, oh, this is totally freaky, and that was like it. And now they're like everywhere. So on TikTok, let's see. Did it say where it was? No. Come on. Where did it go? That's as far as we could push it today. It's kind of irritating. They don't say where it is, but I kind of got the feeling it might be Florida. There's peat bogs like everywhere now. I mean, we're going to turn into a giant peat bog planet because there's like all these peat bogs all in the Siberia and all in Alaska and Canada now, and it's causing the eternal fires that overwinter and start up again, and it's making all these islands, and it's like the magic of the peat bogs. I think they spelled it Theresa May. I remember 2 S's. I think it was always Treseme for me. 1 S. Is that what it is now? Theresa May. That's the one I remember. Oh, there's 2 S's now. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Theresa May. Theresa May. It looks weird with the 2 S's. I guess if it's French, it's not, I mean 2 M's. If it's 2 M's for French, it would be that weird. I just don't remember it being Theresa May like that. Nope. I would call that a Mandela. I mean, I'm not 110%, but I'm pretty sure that's one. Yeah. I don't remember Sarlu's wolf dog. And then I just remember is the Finnish Lapphund. Oh, another dog breed person. Yeah, I've never heard of Sarlu's wolf. Now I do remember like a few years back they were saying that they had created a dog breed that looks like a wolf, but it was very new. So dog breed canine hybrid. Sarlu's wolf dog is a wolf dog breed originating from the Netherlands by crossing a German Shepherd with a Siberian gray wolf. No, I don't remember that breed at all. There wasn't a whole... There was half wolf dogs, but I don't remember a whole breed out of it. Originated in the Netherlands in 1935. So I would assume then that they would crossbreed them and then, like, only breed the nicer ones that didn't try to, like, bite you later. Have a striking wolf-like appearance and are one of the most lupine or wolfish of all dogs that look like wolves. Yeah, because there's half-wolf genetics. Those weren't around. The only wolfy-looking dog you could get was an actual half-wolf that wasn't a breed. And then they made ones out of, like, German Shepherds and Huskies and stuff that looked wolfy, but they didn't have any wolf in them. And that was recent. So, dog breed. Let me see if we can find that one. Dog breed that looks like a... Oops. 11 dogs. It might have been Tamaskins. It kind of sounds like it. Malamute, no. No. I think it might have been Tamaskin. Malamute. Those are old. Husky. No, they don't look like wolves that much. Czech wolf dog. I've not heard of Czech wolf dog. There's so many new breeds. It's ridiculous. There's going to be like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new breeds. A new breed. Hybrid between German Shepherds and Carpathian wolves. Okay, I've not heard of that one. Temperament of a German Shepherd. Strength and stamina of a wolf. Kugshaw. Amerindian Malamutes are native to the United States and are wolf hybrids. Man, there's a bunch of wolf hybrids. Samoyed wolf. Yeah, Samoyeds. They're not $5,000 for a Sammy. Finland, Tamaskins are new breed, bred to look like wolves with a thick coat. That would be the ones, Tamaskins. And those are, how old did they say? They say they're a new breed. Recognized by the Kennel Club in 2013. I'm really suspicious of that time frame. I think those are sneaking backwards in time. Yeah, I don't know. See, there's not just one new breed. There's like 10. And I've just noticed, like, with the animals coming in, used to be you just see one and then there'd be two. But now they're like, boom, there's 1,300 species of these. I mean, they're not wasting any time anymore, are they? Or whatever's doing it. I think that's everything now. Yep. Those were other ones were just more political and stuff. Yeah, I think that's it for that pile. Oh, we got 18 minutes left. Got ribbon worms, honeycomb ice. This is one that throwaway 998i username on Retcon. Did I have this on before? I don't remember this, and like half the people don't remember it, and half people do remember it. Do you remember saying rabbit, rabbit, rabbit on the first day of the month? You know, we were discussing this, and one person is like, oh, that was German, but the current wiki says it's North American, and UK that says rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. Now, we've come into this before, like each place thinks somebody else did it. German thinks we did it, and we think Germans did it, or whatever, but like I've never heard of saying rabbit, rabbit, rabbit on the first day of the month. So the storyline is you say, and then you look it up, it says, well, we don't know where it came from, but it's North American and UK now. So the first day of the month, I guess you're supposed to wake up and then say out loud, rabbit, 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 and then it'll bring you like good luck if that's the first thing out of your mouth. I don't know. In some places it's rabbits instead of rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. And some places, oh, you're going to get like a present, or you're going to get good luck. I don't think I've even covered that. Have I? I definitely didn't have it in my old timeline though. So you may remember saying rabbits, rabbits, rabbits. Saltwater crocodiles in Australia could be 30 feet and take out great white sharks. In my past. Okay. All right. Yeah, not for me. Crocodiles were the smaller ones. The other is a Finnish laphound. Finnish laphound does kind of ring a bell. I don't think I've known about it for really long, but I think I have heard of it. You know, in recent years at least. Finnish laphound. Yeah, Finnish laphound. Medium size Spitz type. Uses a herding reindeer. Herding reindeer, that little thing. Although is one of the most popular dog breeds in native country Finland. Cute little guy. I think he might be a little too tiny for this area because he would become coyote chow. What is the size of these little beasts? Appearance. 37 to 42 pounds. Well, they're not too small. If I got like a big one, that might be all right. Laponian herder. It's a little bit hot here for such a furry beast, though. Yeah. I think I've heard of those, but only recently. Like the recent years. I saw a video of great white shark, 30 feet. It was bitten in half. Wouldn't you want to see that? Take yeah, I don't know. Those salties. See, you know, it's weird because I remember this video where there was it was a documentary, and they called them salties, and they were smaller, and they're like, salties are more friendly and blah blah blah, and they're smaller, and they have a smaller mouth, like they're narrower, and now, like, that's not true at all anymore. That's so many. Yeah, I don't know. Like, as every celebrity in the world going, I'll just say I almost died in 9/11, so I'll have something to say in an interview. Maybe like giant copycats. But like, how many people do you want to believe almost died in 9/11? Like half of the United States almost died in 9/11 now. I don't know. There's something weird. 2 minutes is too long for a corn dog. Yeah, maybe. Unless you have a really wimpy microwave. Anyone else seen the road explosion in South Africa? Road just blew up. No, I don't think I've seen that. Road explosion, South Africa. There's been some weird road stuff. Didn't I have that there was that weird stain showing up over somewhere, killing one? Suspected underground gas explosion. Eyewitness report feeling the ground shake and hearing a loud bang. Explosion ripped apart a busy road and overturned several vehicles. The incident occurred as many people were gathering on the street to catch a minibus. 1 dead and 48 injured after a gas explosion. It does seem like this whole methane buildup explosion stuff has really upgraded from the old days. So one of my friends said he used to like yeah, he was kind of a bad boy, and you know, it was a different era back then, but they would get like minor explosives that were easier to get in those days, and the kids would throw them, like light them and throw them down a manhole and then back away, and then boosh, you know, there'd be this mini manhole explosion. But nowadays, if you did that, you'd probably blow up half the city because of this whole methane thing. You could see people, there's like crazy town stuff with that. You just couldn't do that anymore. It would be too dangerous. Like, look at this. I mean, huge orange blade against, let's see. Gas, this might be it. Massive explosion shattered. So you gotta wonder, they say it's a gas explosion. Do we even know what it was? Is reality even real anyways? If it isn't, then we can argue all day about reality and none of it's real. Toxic nitric gas leak killed 17 people earlier this month, including 3 children, in a settlement on the outskirts of Johannesburg. This was blamed on an illegal gold processing operation in the settlement. Anyway, stuff blows up more here, apparently. Anyone tried the white apples? You know, none of the commercial apples taste decent anymore. There's so many people all over the internet saying food doesn't taste good anymore, and they're blaming it on like the food supply, right? I wonder how much of that is just reality bending. We've been talking about that for years, but now all the normies are saying it. Apple, ghost apple. It doesn't, somehow without the color, it looks so wrong. A nice harvest of ghost white apples. These are normally given to widows, orphans, and the dead. What? Would be vampires? I haven't heard any of that business. So what, they're like ancient now or what? I thought they were pretty new last time I checked into them. That they have all of this history. What the heck? Weren't they new last time I checked into these? Ghost apples. All right, Let's look this up. Is that, maybe that's another one of those, ooh, there's a new strain, and then 3 years later it's a 100-year-old strain. These trees are growing ghost apples. All right, we saw that before, where the ice went around the apple, and then the apple somehow liquefied and fell out. All right, but, old pictures of ghost apples wow people again. Apple ghost, Green Acres. How old is that? Seems like they get sunburn or something. Truly unique apple variety produces completely white fruits with sweet sub-acidic flavor in midsummer. Does great in hot climates with low chill. That means it probably would do good here. We've got like no chill, or sometimes chill. I guess that would be it. Sometimes chill. Chill hours, it's usually like some kind of frost, I would say. And we can definitely have years we don't get that. I don't think we got any the last like 2 years. It's not saying now anything about when this was created. All right, this one might explain it. Nope. All right, I think I need the word white in here to find it. I've got 7 minutes. White. Ghost apples. Well, once I covered all that, I'm like, I'm not going to finish everything. I got most of the more interesting ones done. I'll have some for next week, then I don't have to sweat it. I've got some images ones. White transparent? There's a white transparent? Early season cultivar is said to be yellow, same as yellow transparent. They don't look transparent. Are they going to be transparent later? Are you going to have like transparent skin and like look inside and it'll be like, you know, we going to get transparent apples. They're not transparent yet, but I'm very suspicious. All right, here's white ghost apple. Is this like real or is it fake video? Okay. Is that real? So it's white on the outside and yellowish inside? It was cake and a talented artist filled it with apple? I mean, the cake was apple? Oh my god, it must be in this list of nature photos that are hard to leave, but indeed real. Okay, I gotta click on that. I got 5 minutes. This photo collection features some of the most incredible scientific real-life images we could discover. I don't know what that is. Am I gonna get trolled? Okay, that one, the water level dropped, the ice stayed up. I've seen that. We've seen that weird fire river lit by the weird lighting in Yosemite. What the heck is this thing? This was obtained by arranging different color leaves. All right. A real chili pepper with rainbow. That's awesome looking. Waves in the coast that have patterns that resemble teeth. Okay. Reflected picture of the sea on shattered glass. Really high waves. We've had asperatus clouds on them. This is crazy. Bizarre snow pattern. Interesting. Alright, I think this was like the river was really stinky and rose and stained everything. I think we've had that one on. Okay, these aren't that weird. All right, frozen pond. Speaking of weird ice, there's one. Sunset. Ooh, this is very much more square than I remember the square clouds before. I feel like this one is upgraded quite a bit. More asperatus clouds, I believe, or weird clouds. Speaking of the devil, weird tornadoes, weird lightning. We've had that one on. Spider webs taking over the universe. We've had that. We've had this one on. We've had this one on where the waters do not mix so much anymore. We've had the mammatus clouds on before. I think I've had this one on before. Imperial snowflake. I mean, is that like really tiny? Is that the thing? I don't think I've seen that before. We've had that thing on. Spotted lake. Lake Natron. We've had Lake Natron on, but it wasn't pink before, so it's pink now. That's the thing that where it was super saline, and then the creatures would like vitrify into like salt, like they would be surrounded with salt, so you get these like salt crystal birds and stuff, like anything that died. It wasn't pink though. Lake Natron was not pink before, so that's pretty weird. We've had these weird hills on not too long ago. Okay. Interesting. So Lake Natron is pink now. Lake Natron. Whoa, it is. Is it? Is it? Okay. District of Arusha in Tanzania. Lake Natron. It's not okay. It's mostly pink now, though. Oh, of course, it's got flamingos, too. Flamingos are everywhere now. They used to be, like, endangered, and there was only a few left, and, oh my god, they're gonna die, and now there's, like, jillions of species, thousands and thousands and thousands in one flock. Aerial view. Oh, that's nice. Of salt patterns in Lake Natron, Tanzania. That's some styling red stuff. Okay, I'm gonna guess that it is not totally red all the time. There it is. But, yeah, nice. Okay. I'm wondering if the Salt Lake, Salton Sea will turn all pink. Let me just look at Salton Sea. Salton Sea is near us, and it does some of this weird salt crystallization. I don't think that one's turned pink yet. But most of these salt lakes are turning pink, so... Ooh, the mud pots. They're turning greenish. Maybe we'll get multicolors. I would like that better. We have green here. I think we did have a little bit of color on some of the... Oh, you know what it was? I think it was like... I thought it would turn. But this one definitely is greenish here. Oh, interesting. Oh, whoa. This is different. Oh, this is different. This is Salton Sea. Man, it's looking like a big dong here or something. I don't remember it being dong shaped. Is this really Salton Sea? There was not all this farming next to it. This was in the boonies, in the middle of nowhere. Now there's like all these farmland here. Is that really Salton Sea? Salton Sea. Oh my Lord. Oh my God. It really is Salton Sea. All that farmland. That was like, it was in the boonies. This is crazy town, all this. This was not like this. This is crazy town. This is crazy town. But, you know, it used to be an artificial lake that was formed by accident. And now it's always been there, and the accident just made it larger. But now there's all that farming. Oh, my. Salton City, California? Salton City, California. So it used to just be Slab City. There was no Salton City. Salton City? Slab City, it just was like a bunch of people in their old trailers just went out to live on Salton Sea. Look at that! Oh my god. No. Oh my god. So there was no Salton City. There was Slab City. Oh, this is crazy town. Salton City, California. Salton City. Of course, it's by Salton Sea. There was no Salton City. Oh, that's crazy. Census designated place in Imperial County, located at the shores of Salton Sea. There was nothing but Slab City along the shores, despite being developed as a planned resort town. Meant to support 40,000 residents, fewer than 1,000 people lived in the area of 2000 census, leading to some referred to as a modern ghost town. Population of Salton Sea has increased in the 21st century due to improvements to nearby highways. Okay, so we're getting a whole city now with a name. It's not just Slab City. Salton City was an abandoned town in southern... That's right, because I remember I was finding like a historical past of more activity around Salton Sea, so there must have been a Salton City back then. We were talking about visiting Slab City, and I was driving my truck, and my truck conked out. And so I didn't go on the trip to see Slab City along Salton City, along Salton Sea. My friend went without me. She had a good time. My truck died. Maybe it was destiny. Crazy town. So that area is getting way more farming and stuff. It's weird because, you know, we see all this stuff about they're shutting down farming, but there's way more actual lots of green stuff now than I remember there being before. So again, it's kind of the opposite of the narrative. We're told one thing, but physically on the map, I see the opposite. So, you know, maybe don't fret so much because the reality seems to be going opposite the narrative on some of this stuff, at least for the fear porn. All right, let's see. So I gotta go soon. The only reason I can still be here is because I started late. The soil is depleted and dying for enough nutrients. I know that's this narrative on TV. I just don't know if it's reality or not. White pumpkins were a new thing like a couple years ago. Yeah, next time you check it might have been like 100 years old. The green and white pumpkins in the store look disgusting. Yeah. I mean, nobody really buys pumpkins to eat them, do they? All right, yes, it is time to go. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Very much appreciate it. You know the drill. Think good thoughts, everybody. Thank you so much. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.